Hello, everyone. Welcome to Immigration Live with Lee. I am attorney Lee Marvin, and I'm here tonight, like I am every Monday at 8 Eastern, to answer your questions about immigration, to talk about trends, to talk about um, basically changes, and to generally answer questions about this incredibly difficult but yet very important area of people's lives and my primary practice of law. Okay, immigration law is super duper complicated, but I try to do the best I can to boil it down for people and to make it digestible so people can understand how this works. So I've got a bunch of questions. The first thing I want to talk about tonight is great news for waiver applicants. So we now are getting approvals finally after just over 3 years of waiting and waiting and waiting through this administration's very slow processing of waiver requests. We're finally getting approvals from filings that were made right before COVID. So this is great news. We've gotten several, I think it was 2 today. We got notified today of 2 of our clients that we've been waiting a very long time for. So that is huge news, huge news, because every month or so, I talk about processing times. I have videos posted about processing times. People always ask me processing times. And oh my gosh, when are we going to finally start getting approvals or decisions from immigration, especially for the waivers? Because the waivers had been taking, 10 months originally. Then it started going up and up and up and up, and it eventually got up to 3 years or more. So we're finally seeing approvals coming, decisions coming from immigration for waiver approval. So huge news. And I got a lot of clients that are going to be very excited that we're now going to be able to move forward with the rest of their green card process. So yay us. Okay. So that's excellent to know. So some other questions. Okay. And I will say that all of my friends joining me right now, welcome. And please type your questions in the comment section. If you're on YouTube, if you're on Instagram or Facebook, write your questions in the comment section so I can get to them and answer your questions. If I can't answer them today, or you don't want to ask them today because it's private and you don't want the entire world to know about it, then let me give you this link so you can schedule a consultation to talk with me about your problems with immigration, how to make it work for you, how to succeed with immigration. Okay, so let me go ahead and put that here. Here's the link. Bam, right there. So again, put your comments in the comment section. Welcome everyone who's joining us today. So the first thing I led with was the great news about the waivers that are finally being decided. Luckily for me, I've got a number of approvals within the last day from filings that were submitted prior to COVID. So it's finally happening, folks. So all the promises of the government, looks like they're fulfilling that. It's just 3 years too late. But in any event, it's good news, okay? So I will say that other topics, things that people ask me about, wanted me to talk about on the program tonight. First is, okay, how long until I get a work permit? Okay, this is always being asked. Work permits, as you guys all know, work permits, you can't have them without something else. So you can't just apply for a work permit. You have to have a larger process that allows you the right to apply for a work permit. So depending on what your big process is, determines how long of a wait it is, okay? So if it's a green card, asylum, or U visa, they all have different wait times and processing times for work permits. I will say this, that once you're able to apply for your work permit, they are processing them faster because they got sued so many times. They actually prioritize work permit requests. And now it's taking, honestly, it's taking less than 3 months, sometimes a little bit longer, but it's taking a lot less time than it was before to get a work permit approval. Again, a green card, it's about 3 months. Asylum, asylum's different because you have to wait for 6 months before you have the right to request the work permit, okay? So it's 6 months, and then when you apply, it's taken about 3 months. U visa depends on if you have the traditional U visa or if you have one that allows you the bona fide determination. If it's a traditional U visa, you're waiting 5 years or more for the right to get your work authorization. If it's the current era where they actually look at your stuff and give you a bona fide determination, what that is the government prioritizes these requests and they look to see if it looks like a legitimate or bona fide request for a U visa. If it is, they will fast forward the wait time and let you have a work permit. You know, it's up in the air whether they make you apply for it or whether they do it themselves. In the past, when they first started this bona fide determination, only they could give you the work permit. Later on, we started getting requests from them saying, hey, you guys need to request it now. Okay, whatever. So it depends on what the process is. But this is also very good news. In addition to the waivers, finally moving forward, the work permits are going quicker than they had in the past. Okay. So since I don't want to forget about this, I'm going to tell you guys, again, thank you for all of our friends, especially Instagram, tons of people on Instagram. Thank you for joining us. Put your questions in the comments section, and I will get to them in due course, okay? So I will say that the thing I did not want to forget is on May 15th, that's on a Wednesday at 12:30, the lunchtime hour, we're going to do another webinar, free webinar for marriage and fiancé visa people, okay? So people who have questions about which process makes the most sense for them, which is quicker, which is cheaper, all these things I will talk about in this free webinar. If you want to be a part of that webinar, you got to send a request to info at marvinlawoffice.com. So you send that and say, hey, I want to be a part of your free webinar, and we will send you the information to make sure that you are part of this webinar. It was very well attended the last couple times we had one. So please send that request to info at marvinlawoffice.com and post your questions, please. Okay. So again, May 15th, we're going to be releasing this stuff on social media later this week, but I wanted to give you guys a sneak peek, not really a peek, but I wanted to let you guys know that that's coming and to watch our website and watch our social media to get information about that, okay? So since it is the end of tax season, well, it's not the end, really it's the beginning, but it's past the initial normal time that you file taxes. So this question always comes up with clients. Taxes. We live together, but we file separately. So the question is, do you have to file jointly or can you file individually or separately? Okay. And what are the consequences if you don't file jointly? Okay. This question has been around for a very long time. And I will tell people that it depends, right? I know I'm a lawyer. That's what lawyers say, but it really does. It depends on what's going on in your situation, your family situation. It depends if you have a ton of other information to share, to show the government that you have a bona fide, there's that phrase again, bona fide relationship. Bona fide means it's real, it's genuine. If you can show that you have a bona fide relationship, taxes are not as important. Okay, this is some of the stuff that I talk about during my webinar. Okay, so this is a little preview of that, but basically, do you have to file jointly? No, you don't. Absolutely do not. Is it a darn good idea? Yeah, because if you file jointly, you show the government that you're willing to sink or swim together, including with taxes, and in the eyes of the government, that is a huge, huge thing. That if you're willing to join yourselves together and the consequences affect both of you the same way, then the government will be more readily able and willing to believe that you have a legitimate or bona fide relationship, okay? So we're talking basically green card requests, okay? That's hugely important for green card requests. So is it required? No. Is it smart? Darn right it is. So if you have more questions about that, you can click on the link and schedule a consultation to talk to me directly. Again, A lot of people don't like to post questions that are very private to them because this is social media, which is open to everyone. So click on that link, which is up here in the chat, and schedule a consultation to talk directly to me. Nobody else will know anything about it, okay? So that question, taxes, because it's the end of tax season. If you filed an extension and you haven't filed yet, you still have a chance to do joint tax returns, okay? Let's see. Talked about the waivers. Okay, here's another question that's very, very similar to that, okay? The tax question. This was a question I got earlier today. We post basically a question on social media, asking people what questions they may have they want me to talk about tonight. One of the questions was, well, let me read it, okay, since I have that ability. Okay, where are you? Okay. My wife and I have different addresses to save money on car insurance. Can this be a problem? Um, it's not necessarily a problem, but it can create doubt in the government's mind. Okay, so I guess in a way that could be a problem. But really, if you do things the right way, that's not a problem. If you can show that you have a bona fide, genuine relationship, it doesn't really matter if you have accounts in different households. But I tell you what, the stronger your relationship is, the easier it is to convince the government that you guys aren't just messing with the system, that you're not circumventing the system, trying to get around it. You're not committing fraud, basically. So whenever couples have separate households, absolutely red flag to the government, because they're like, wait a minute, we're doing a marriage-based green card request. You guys don't live in the same household. Well, guess what? We're going to be super, super strict with you. And chances are we're going to deny you unless you can convince us that this is legitimate and not just a fake relationship to get a green card. So it depends. Okay. There's that phrase again. It depends. It really does. Okay. So another question I had was it was asked in 4 different questions, so it was kind of hard to follow a bit. But this individual gave their name. I have a fiance who lives in France, and we have a baby together. Congratulations! I love babies. So we're both refugees. Okay, you were at the refugee camp together, and your significant other was taken to France, and you got lucky and got to come to the United States. Okay, so the question is, he's not a French citizen. Can you, as the U.S. citizen, sponsor him even though he's not a French citizen? Absolutely. Okay, it doesn't matter what citizenship status is. Honestly, it matters what your relationship is, and that your sponsor is a U.S. citizen or legal permanent resident. So it doesn't matter that your husband that went to France didn't become a citizen of France, because let's be honest, France, super strict, way more difficult in France than it is the United States. Okay, so it's hard to become a citizen of France. So they don't make it as easy as we do. It doesn't matter, right? Because if you have your husband that's in France, you absolutely can sponsor him, because it's the relationship that matters, not necessarily the citizenship status. Okay, so that was a very good question from earlier today. Here's another question. Can asylum be rejected if you have hepatitis B? Okay, so really the answer is no, because here's the deal, and it's kind of a trick question, a trick answer, because asylum, the thing is with asylum is that the medical exams are not the same as they are through the green card process. Okay, so if you're going through the asylum process and you have some kind of communicable disease or one that spreads, that's not a deal killer for somebody with asylum. It may be for somebody who's trying to become a legal permanent resident. Okay, when you get to the point in time where you get your asylum, you keep your asylum, and then you're finally eligible to apply for your green card, if you have it then, that's definitely going to be a problem, okay? So, okay, I got another question here on Instagram. Again, thank you, all of our fans, tons of people on Instagram. Thank you for joining us today. Questions, please post in the comment section. Yes, okay, absolutely. And again, I know your long name, and then I have your, Tuyi. Absolutely, my pleasure to answer that question. If you have more questions that you don't want the world to know about, here's the link to schedule that appointment with me, okay? So my pleasure. So let me go up, see, there's a few other people asking questions. What about applying for WAVA? And it's actually VAWA, Violence Against Women Act, so VAWA, after applying for regular spouse petition, disadvantage and advantages. Okay, so the question is, you are married to a legal permanent resident, or are you a citizen? You started the green card process through that relationship, and something went very badly in the relationship, such that there's abuse. And now the question is, should I do VAWA as an alternative to the regular green card process through that relationship? It depends on what's going on in the relationship. Okay, I've helped people with this, lots of people. It depends on how bad things got in the relationship and how far along in the process you are. Because if you are far enough along in the process where you're getting ready for an interview, very different than if you're just starting out, okay? I try to help clients save money by not needlessly hiring an attorney to do a process if you don't need to. Like, if you've got a green card, you already submitted the request, and it's far enough along, you might not need to do VAWA, but it is there for you if you do need it. So again, I will say, look at my the link that I put up there for consultation, because this is a very delicate matter, and there's tons of side questions that come from these. So I strongly urge you to schedule a consultation to talk to me about that, so I can make sure that you're on the right path and you're not wasting money, okay? Let's see, is there anything up here? So the links are there in the chat. So if you need the link for that consultation, it is there. So please take a look at it. And again, please post your questions in the comment section so I can get to them. Lots of good questions, but I see that there's room for lots more. So if somebody has a question, please post it, okay? I have a few other items that I wanted to talk about to help people understand these things. We talked about the waivers. That big news is the waivers are finally being processed, and in my case, approved for the filings that I have for my clients. We filed these just before COVID. We're talking 2020. They're finally being approved. They're finally being decided, okay? They're finally being decided. It took 3 years, but they're finally being decided. That's a really good trend. We've had a number of them within the last day come through and get approved. So the government is finally stepping up in processing things quicker. Actually, 3 years isn't quicker. It's just that we're finally to the point where they're processing them and they're making decisions. So great news with that, okay? So I answered questions about taxes, joint taxes, how to show bodified relationship, and what it means to have separate households. Again, this is always a good question. It's always relevant to spouse-based green cards, to fiancé visas, things like that. Being able to show your relationship and have good information to prove your relationship so that you can move forward is hugely important, okay? So immigration is tough in part because it's not set in stone. It's kind of jumping in the brain of USCIS, which is a very scary place, jumping in the brain of USCIS and anticipating their questions and providing the information before they ask for it if you're doing it right, in order to get the approval in the quickest amount of time possible. So I've had clients that we start relationships. Okay, one second. Send your questions, please. Okay, it's just a reminder to send questions. People who are separate households. Okay, again, my phone's blowing up here. Okay, so yeah. So again, post your questions. I'm here for you guys. If nobody has questions, then we end this a little bit early tonight, because again, I'm here for you. And if you don't have questions, you don't post the questions, then it communicates to me that you love watching my videos. But if you don't have anything that you want answered, like for example, you go onto my YouTube channel, you look at all my videos, so you don't have a question, then I can always end this live a little bit early. But please post your questions. In case you didn't hear, post your questions, okay? What's wrong with my question? I don't know what you're talking about, okay? I don't know what question you asked me. So if you ask me again, I would be happy to answer it, okay? So let's see. So again, going over here, our friends at YouTube. Hey, watching for the Philippines. That's great. Welcome. Yes, it's afternoon there. It's evening here. So again, welcome. Thank you for joining. And please, if you have questions, ask questions. Okay. So let me go back over to friends at Instagram. I got my green card February 2nd, 2024. My son gave it to me. He was born here in the US. My daughter's 22. Can I apply an immigrant visa for her? How much time is it going to take? Okay, I got my green card. Okay, so mother has a green card. Congratulations on that. And you want to sponsor your daughter. Absolutely, you can sponsor your daughter because if you have a residency, as long as your daughter is not married, then you can sponsor your daughter. There are different waiting periods for that relationship. I'm going to go out on a limb and say it's probably about 3 years waiting time. But again, check out my other videos where I talk about how to look up the visa bulletin to see how long of a waiting period it is. A lot of it depends on the ages and all that. Okay, so if you have a question, you absolutely can schedule a consultation with me, and I can speak more directly with you about this. But yes, you can sponsor your daughter. Absolutely. Okay, let's go up here. The first question, please scroll up and you'll see my question. Well, let me do that right now. Let's see. I do not see it because the first question, what am I applying for? VAWA. I'm sorry, I do not see it. There are a ton of people who have logged in here, so I'm still looking for it. Be easier for you to re-ask me the question, if you please. If it's important enough for you to get an answer, you can certainly type it in again, okay? So again, a lot of good things going on right now, and we'll take all the good we can get, okay? So YouTube, I got a question. Our friend from the Philippines, my American husband filed Form I-130 last October. Status is taking longer than expected. How long will we wait? So that is such a common question that is for the most part kind of tough to answer because it depends when the government gets around to it. Meaning there are posted processing times that they post, but they don't really follow. So it really depends what it is. I-130, it was filed in October of 22. That's a bit crazy. My American husband, I'm assuming it's a U.S. citizen husband. I don't know why it's taken almost 2 years for that I-130 to be approved. It should not be taking that long. I don't think it's taken that long for an immediate relative. Your husband and you are immediate relatives. There's no waiting period for that. So it should just be processing time. And honestly, 10 months, a year maximum is what it's taken for my clients to get their I-130s approved. So I'm not sure why yours is taking longer. And I'm sorry to tell you that. It's just dealing with this administration. So hang in there. You can always reach out to immigration and ask them. You're not going to get very good answers or very quick, but that is your right, okay? How long will we wait for my visa? So Estelita, again, once you get to that point and you do have the interview, it'll move very quickly. So the I-130, you get it approved, and it usually takes about 3 months for that to be funneled through the National Visa Center and the embassy. And after that, it moves real quick. Okay, so you're almost there. Okay, let's see another question. Let's see. And again, thank you again for watching from the Philippines. We have lots of friends in the Philippines, so thank you kindly for that. Okay, so again, I'm trying to see if there's any other questions. Let's see, anything that I missed? Not there. Let's see here. I'm going down again. Maya Jonas, is it true to get a green card in 3.5 months? It's true. I've gotten a number of clients green cards in 3 months, definitely less than 4 months. So is it common? Maybe not. Is it possible? Heck yeah. If you do a darn good job and you give the government exactly what they want and there's no issues, yes, it is possible to get. I've gotten several of them this year, okay? All the other documents for her in October. Okay, she got her green card. Yeah. So like I said, it is absolutely possible to do that. I've done it many times. So you just need to file the right way, and you need to click on the link. Let me see if I can put it here again. If you need my help with it, because again, I've had multiple approved in 3 months. So I would be happy to help you. So here's that link. Go ahead and click the link and schedule that consultation, okay? Okay, 1 second on more. Yeah, and again, I'm being told to remind people to read our Google reviews, okay? I'm not just making this stuff up, okay? I can say amazing things about myself. That's not who I am. I don't usually do it. I probably should do it. Go to our Google reviews and see the things that people are saying about my representation. Check out our Google reviews, okay? Delroy, I'm from Jamaica. My wife filed the I-130 in August of 23. It's saying a week for a decision. What next? What's the amount of time? Everything been approved. Okay. So again, August of 23, it's saying a week for a decision. I don't know if you're saying that you go to their profile and they're now saying that they're anticipating a week. I will say that it depends on where it is in the process and who's telling you it's a week, whether it's immigration, whether it's just their posted time, whether it's your profile. So usually, again, an I-130, when I file an I-130, I usually get approvals 10 months maximum, right? I've gotten them a lot quicker than that. So it really depends on what's going on. It depends who filed. It depends if you actually had somebody file for you or if you did it yourself. I will say that when you have an attorney file that knows what they're doing, it's very smooth. If immigration sees that people do their own stuff, they usually put that at the back of the pile because they want to review something that's easy for them. So they usually will go to the attorneys first, and then they'll trickle through to people who do their own and go from there. So just a reminder, we have our webinar for spouse visas and fiance visas that if you up in the comment section, I put info@marvinlawoffice.com. That's the email address that you want to send a request to get invited to that free webinar. And it's, again, it's going to be May 15th. It's a Wednesday at 12:30 Eastern Standard Time. So lunchtime for Eastern Standard Time. May 15th, we're going to answer all your questions. We're going to provide really good information to help you decide whether a spouse visa or a fiancé visa is the right approach for you. So please join us, but you got to email info@marvinlawoffice.com in order to do that. Watch our social media. We're going to post this stuff like crazy so that we can help all of our friends. We really want you there, so please join us. Look out for that over the next few days. We're going to release that information, and we'd love to have you join us. The last several webinars were very well attended. People said really good things about it. Again, check out our Google reviews if you have questions about social proof of whether I do and say and do what I preach on here. I do check out the reviews so you know what kind of an attorney I am. And not just me, anyone else that you're going to look forward to research, check out the reviews, because that's where the rubber meets the road. That's where you know whether they're good or whether they're just going to scam you, okay? So again, thank you for everyone who's joined us. Join us again next Monday at 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time, and submit your questions beforehand so I make sure I can get them. Like there's a few here tonight that I wasn't able to get to. I couldn't find them. You said they were up above, but I didn't find it. So please check in advance and send us questions so that we can make sure that we answer those questions for you. And again, you can always schedule consultation so I can meet with you directly in real life, whether it's on the phone, whether it's Zoom, and we can talk like we're talking now, but specifically to you. So again, thank you everyone for joining. All of our friends, I see a lot of our regular friends on here. Thank you for everyone who joined us. We will see you next Monday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Immigration Live with Lee. Thank you.